welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Ruth Nzioka and welcome to my channel. So finally we have come to the end of the series, and as promised, today I'm going to be sharing with you why the Lord is against us doing these things, and at the same time why He prohibits us, and share with you a couple of verses. So today's video is going to be kind of different because it's going to be kind of a Bible study, and forgive me guys, I'm not going to be looking at you today. I'll just be looking on my screen to be able to share with you the verses. And then, because it's kind of a lengthy topic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the link in the description below of the blog post I wrote of the same. I tried to make it as detailed as possible. You can as well also add your own verses, and at the same time I'm going to share with you various videos from various YouTubers and people who have shared the same message, so that you can all get more insight. And if you have more, please, as usual, share with us so that we can all grow and walk in this journey together. And as we begin this study, please let's begin with a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon. We give you glory and we give you honor. Dear Holy Spirit, take control, take over this discussion and the Bible study. May everything that I speak not be of my own. May every word that proceeds out of my mouth, may it only be ordained by you, and all to the glory and honor of your name. I humbly pray that each and every soul that listens to this message is going to receive it on fertile soil, O loving God. And I bind each and every demonic power and assignment that might have been sent on any person who's listening in onto this series not to be able to hear this message. Father, may your grace and mercy be upon each and every person who receives this message. We give you glory, Lord, and we give you honor. It's in your mighty name, dear Lord Jesus Christ, we have prayed and believed. Amen. So, our good Lord Jesus Christ in Psalms tells us that we are beautifully and wonderfully made. That we are created in His own image, guys. He says we are beautiful. And then, somebody else comes along and tells us that, wait. Who told you you're beautiful? Check this out. I have this fake weave. If you put it on, you're going to look so much better. Oh, your eyelashes, they don't look as good. Your eyebrows look a little bit naked. How about you filling them in? Your lips look a bit dull. How about you do the red lipstick for you to pop? Oh, your boobs are a bit smaller. What do you think of these implants? You're too dark for the world's liking. How about bleach your skin? Good idea, right? Weaves. Can I introduce you to something else? Something even better. Human hair. You're even going to look more real. You guys, let's ask ourselves. The Lord says one thing, and someone else comes and says something else totally different. Who could it be other than the devil himself? The word of the Lord tells us in John chapter 10 verse 10 that the devil only comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but our Lord Jesus Christ comes to give us life, and life in abundance. If our good Lord Jesus Christ wanted us to have red lips, He would have given us to them. If He wanted our ears to have earrings, He would have put them on us. If He wanted me, being an African with pussy hair, to have long silky hair, He would have done just that. If He wanted me to have light skin, He would have created me with light skin. Same case to each and every person out there. And even what is more amazing, He's so powerful, He can even make our bodies to glow like jewels. But instead, He created me just as you see me today, and said, Ruth Nzioka, you're beautiful, and you're wonderful, you're good, and I created you in my image. The devil has been lying to us that this is not enough. And all these products that we see in the world were inspired and created of Him. Let us not forget that this world is under the rule of the devil. It may not belong to him, but it is indeed under his rule. And so the liar, as he always is, what did he do? He created these things to tell us that that's the only way we can be more beautiful, more acceptable in his world. And with the changing trends, he keeps changing the different requirements of what beauty is all about. There was a time a bigger woman was beautiful. Today it's a woman who is slim. I always used to believe that the Lord God does not care about my body. He only cares about my heart, That's the only thing. After all, the spirit is the one that is going to go into heaven. But guess what, my brothers and sisters? This is the biggest lie that was ever told in this world. The Lord cares about our bodies just as He cares about our hearts and our spirits. The word of the Lord God tells us in Romans chapter 12 verse 1, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers, on account of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God, which is your spiritual service of worship." He goes on ahead in Romans chapter 6 verse 12 to 23 and tells us that, "Do not let sin control the way you live. Do not give in to the sinful desires. Do not let any part of your body become an instrument of evil, to serve sin. Instead, give yourselves completely to God, for you were dead, but now you have a new life. So use your whole body as an instrument to do what is right for the glory and honor of your name." As we've already discussed, the things, the makeup, the weave, the fake hair, the clothes, everything were all inspired of the devil. This would then mean that this is property that belongs to the evil one. Obviously, light and darkness do not come together. And so once we put on these things on our physical bodies, what we are doing to this body is actually contaminating it. And our good Lord Jesus Christ is against anything that is of the devil and urges us to keep our bodies holy and clean for Him. You know, it's ironic that you would think that the Lord is not okay with one sleeping with a man who is not yet his husband or wife, and yet in the same breath you say that the Lord does not care about makeup. So our Lord does care about our bodies and our spiritual lives. He wants both of them to be clean, all to the glory and honor of His name. And so we're given a clear instruction in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 17, where we're told, "Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord. Touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you." The word of the Lord, as you all know, says in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 that, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership can righteousness have with wickedness? Or what fellowship does light have with darkness?" You know, one of the things that I always constantly check myself with is, if I love a particular thing so much, I have to ask myself, why do I love it so much and I'm not willing to give it up? We are told by the word of the Lord in 1 John chapter 2 verse 15 that, "Do not love the world or anything in the world." All these things belong to the world, guys. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And that was the one verse that popped into my mind that day, the very first day that I came to learn that the Lord does not love makeup. Moving on, Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm bombarding you with so many, what is it called, scriptures. Okay, let me just go back up. We continue the Bible study. So, where people perish for lack of knowledge. And the one thing that I have kept repeating is the element of surprise in this whole journey. That because we do not know or think it's that important, that is exactly what is going to destroy us on the final day. So I'm going to share with you a couple of scriptures on the Lord's thoughts on why He does not like things like makeup. Okay, so as you already know, in Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 5, the Lord states that a woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all who do so are an abomination to the Lord. And then on covering your hair, please read 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 2 to 6. I had spoken a little bit about covering of the heads in the previous videos. And then let me talk about jewelry because I've not said much about it in the previous videos. So, you know, one thing that I found interesting is that in the Bible, when the children of God wanted to speak to Him or wanted His presence to follow them, the one thing that they would do is get rid of all the jewelry they would wear so that they would appease God for Him to be able to follow them. You can find this in Genesis chapter 35 verse 1 to 5, where we see that the Israelites, what they had to do is change their clothes and get rid of all the foreign gods that they had on them, that was rings in their ears. And what Jacob did, he went ahead and buried them. And then after that, they were graced by the presence of God wherever they went, and they were successful in all that they did. And then in Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 19 to 21, we're able to see that that on the last day, on judgment day, those things that were dear to us are going to be thrown into the street, and their gold will be treated as unclean things. The word of the Lord refers to things like jewelry as unclean things. As in, this was so interesting for me to learn. We go just in the same verse, you're going to learn that they took pride in their beautiful jewelry and used it to make their detestable idol. They made it into vile images. Therefore I will make it a thing unclean for them. And then now in Exodus chapter 33 verse 4 to 6, the Lord gives an express command to the Israelites not to wear jewelry. Allow me to read for you. When the Lord heard these stern words, when the people heard these stern words, they went into mourning and stopped wearing their jewelry and fine clothes. For the Lord had told Moses to tell them, "You are a stubborn and rebellious people. If I were to travel with you for even a moment, I would destroy you. Remove your jewelry and fine clothes. When I decide, remove your jewelry and fine clothes while I decide what to do with you." So from the time they left Mount Sinai, the Israelites wore no jewelry or fine clothes. Can you imagine that the presence of the Lord would not go anywhere with them if they were wearing these things? Very, very interesting, guys. Very, very interesting. So let's move on. I'll move on to makeup. Already most people already know that the first woman in the Bible to wear makeup was Jezebel. And this is the same spirit that is operating today amongst the women with regards to things like makeup and jewelry. And if you read 2 Kings chapter 9 verse 30, you're going to see the first account of where a woman in the Bible actually put on makeup. The other people in the word of the Lord who in the Bible who had makeup were people like prostitutes, and all these things were unclean. Now the main question you're supposed to ask yourself, Christian women, are you a daughter of Sarah or are you a daughter of Jezebel? One thing you need to learn, lovely people, why God is against these things, it's because it's an insult to his work. As in the beginning of this video I shared with you, he had already said everything he had created was good. So then who came along and told us that wearing all these things was appropriate? I give in Psalm 139, as you all know, I give thanks to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it so well. Okay. So for the people who are out there wondering, then what is God's standard, or what would the Lord want of a woman to look like? 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 3 to 4, the Lord tells us that your beauty should not come from outward adornment such as elaborate hairstyles, the wearing of gold, jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self and the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. In 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9 to 10, likewise I want the women to adorn themselves with respectable apparel, with modesty, with self-control, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds, as is proper for women who profess to worship the Lord. Glory be to the name of the Lord. Dear lovely all, as you continue to read the scriptures, and as you're going to read more in the detailed write-up that I had written a while back, you're going to see that the Lord is not pleased at all with the jewelry, makeup and all that. And what he requires of us, or what he desires of us as his children, is that we may come out from among them and be separate, so that if somebody can be able to look at you, they can actually be able to say that that is a Christian right there, instead of them looking at two people, one who is a Christian and one who is not a Christian, and saying, I do not see the difference. Thank you and honor for granting me an opportunity to be able to share my own story with you guys, and also in this final video to be able to share with you a couple of the verses that allude to the fact that the Lord does not like these things, rejects them, and wants us Christian women to stop wearing them.